Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the On The Go podcast with Jacob and James. I am Jacob, and I'm sitting with...
I am James.
What's going on, James?
Nothing.
Yeah?
2024 is off with a bang.
Is it? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been good. Nice and sunny outside.
Oh, yeah, the weather's been great.
I've been trying to work out a little bit more.
Nice.
Doing a little bit more dieting.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cut out some of the carbs and stuff.
Anything in particular?
No, nothing too big. Because I actually don't want to lose too much weight. I just want to just exercise some of the stuff off and then just keep the rest of it, just work out.
Right.
Mainly my stomach.
I see.
Yeah. And stomach, chest, the usual. Yeah. I'm not really a big gym person. Are you a big gym person?
Not at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because Khadija's job actually has like a $500 a year kickback to if she does anything in fitness, right? Like, I mean, be it if she buys a fitness watch or if she has like a gym membership, they'll kick back like $500 of it.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then every year, that's an every year thing.
Oh, nice.
So we're always talking, like she's always bringing it up, but like then we never execute. And actually, just recently, she found out she can reimburse her Apple Watch because it counts as a fitness thing. Because she bought an Apple Watch like I think 4 or 5 months ago, and that was like $300. So she's like, "Yeah, give me my $300 back." Is
it like what, Lifetime? You ever been in a Lifetime gym? Those things are expensive.
No, I haven't been there. I haven't been in any of those gyms.
Whoa, man, those things. I think it's $100 at Lifetime Fitness. Yeah, $100 a month.
Well, I mean, part of the reason too is like. What, people join gyms and they never go, and then when they never go. When you cancel, you have to go there physically.
Yes.
So it's just like once you get it, they might as well all be lifetime memberships.
If I was at a Lifetime gym, that Lifetime, I think it's called Lifetime's Gym or Lifetime, whatever it's called. I know it's called Lifetime. If I went to that gym, I would live in that gym. Yeah. If I had to pay $100 a month, you kidding me? Forget about it.
That's at least worth one day.
And I already know how to swim, so I'm good on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, there's a couple fitness places I've been thinking about going to. We'll see. I'm not, like I said, I don't like going to the gyms because I know the stories. I know the horror stories of going to the gym.
Right.
The exercise equipment is always sweaty. You got some of the women that's trying to take selfies.
Yeah. So
they're kind of in the way.
Well, a big thing is people recording themselves in the gym.
That
now,
too.
Right?
You got everybody recording themselves in the gym. You got the big dude who's trying to show that he's really, really big and he's, like, hey, I'm the man around here. I'm like, see, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I would rather work out in a garage.
Yeah.
Or just work out by myself and just, just focus.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. But yeah, man, I'm trying to get this thing underway. You should join me.
Yeah. I don't know about in a gym. I'll continue dieting.
It don't have to be in the gym. It don't have to be in the gym. But you did a good job.
Yeah. Well, the past couple of weeks have been kind of hard because like the holidays. Yeah. You got Christmas and people are buying you candy and snacks and stuff.
If you go from where you were at the wedding to now, you have done a complete 360.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, you was not playing.
I'm very happy about this.
Do you have good, what you call it? What's that? Will? You have good will?
Not particularly, actually. I don't know. It's just, you get tired of looking at yourself in the mirror. Yeah. And I think that's the point, right? Where you're like, oh, I don't like any of this.
So you just hunker down.
Hunker down, yeah.
So that whole summer, you just said, forget this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And what were you eating?
Honestly, I didn't really change up my diet too much. All we did, and all I did mainly, was stop eating snacks as much. Yeah. Stop drinking sugar drinks. We drink the zero drinks now, which I know they're still not that great for you, but
they
sugar-wise,
zero.
Yeah, but sugar-wise, they're a lot better. And chicken, fish, turkey, less beef. I love a good cheeseburger, but honestly, I can't eat cheeseburgers every week anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you haven't had it in so long.
Yeah. So, and I mean, also, like, a cheeseburger a week is probably bad for you, too.
True.
Depending on how they cook the cheeseburger. But no, honestly, it's just a big diet change.
Yeah.
Less sugar, more sugar-free things.
And see, me personally, I've always eaten chicken anyway. I love chicken and fish more than anything.
Right.
I can eat that. I can live off of that more than I can eat beef.
Right.
I really don't like steak as much.
Yeah.
I don't mind eating steak if I'm going out to a fancy restaurant because it's something I don't eat often.
Yeah.
But I really don't need steak. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be easy. It's gonna be a piece of cake.
Yeah. By
the summer,
stay focused.
Yeah, by the summer, I'll look a whole lot different. But yeah, man, you did a good job.
Also, calorie counting actually does
calorie counting too. Yeah,
like just paying attention to like the calorie consumptions.
Yeah.
So, which I haven't been doing the last couple of weeks. So,
I mean,
it's the holidays.
But it's the holidays.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure after the what, January, you're gonna get yourself doing it again.
Yeah, probably after like mid-January.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I'll kick back into gear. But
okay.
But anyway, hey, this is our Friday edition. When we're not talking about losing weight and exercising, we're talking about movies and stuff, right?
We are.
So this isn't a segment, James, but Khadijah and I recently started watching King of the Hill.
I just love that show.
Like we were like fully dedicated to like watching from season 1 to like whenever it ended. And I think they're doing a reboot of some sort.
I keep hearing about it. I don't know if it's coming tonight.
I don't know if it is or not either, but Mike Judge did the Beavis and Butthead reboot.
Yep.
So most likely it's coming.
It was successful last time I checked.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of episodes of it.
I haven't either, but I know it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. So we started watching King of the Hill, and it's just the part of the reason we started watching it was because Khadijah really likes watching Bob's Burgers, and Bob's Burgers is as far as adult animations go. You have your adult animations like your Family Guys and your Rick and Mortys and your American Dads, and then you either have the adult animation that tries to like overdo or outdo.
Kind of like Simpsons. Simpsons was always kind of on that line.
Right.
But never crossing the line like Family Guy.
Right. But then you have Family Guy, and then after Family Guy, you have, especially Netflix. Netflix has all these like adult animation.
They do.
Big Mouth would be an example.
Yep.
Big Mouth is a very gross show.
I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea.
It's about kids going through puberty, bunch of sex jokes in it, and it's very awkward because like they're cartoon children, like literally like 12, 13-year-old children. And some of it's entertaining and some of it's like relatable a little bit because they introduce the hormones as like different creatures.
Yeah, I saw.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun and stuff. But like at the same time, you're like, oh, I'm there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in the show that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah, me too.
Family Guy was on the line. Big Mouth pushes it over the line.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a lot of animations that are like that. But then you have animations like Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill where it's like it's not for children, but also it's not over the top and sexual for adults. It's literally like families living day to day. It's like a slice of life, but it's not for kids.
Well, I used to watch it when I was I think it came out in 98.
96.
96 was the first episode. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. So I watched it when I was a kid and I was like 7 years old.
Right.
And me and my dad, we loved it.
Yeah.
So I always watched it. And my mom never looked at me and said, "You can't watch this show."
Right.
Family Guy, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. But, some of the subject matter in King of the Hill is definitely not for children.
No,
right?
well, yeah, of course not.
To make a long story long, Khadijah and I were talking about how Bob's Burgers is super wholesome and King of the Hill would be like the 90s equivalent to that. So we're like, hey, you know what? Why don't we go back and watch King of the Hill? Because Khadijah's like caught up on Bob's Burgers. She watched Bob's Burgers every time it comes out. So we started watching King of the Hill. It's been fun. It's a fun watch. I didn't know there was a whole episode where Hank bought crack for fishing.
Oh.
Which I feel like that's pushing it for King of the Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the line for King of the Hill was like, oh wow, they had a whole episode where he bought drugs. He didn't know he bought drugs.
Well, also too, I think also when Mike Judge did Beavis and Butthead, he knew the target audience for that Beavis and Butthead. It was on MTV.
Yeah.
MTV was the land of grossness and the land of pee jokes and sex and everything.
Right. And they started off as like between music videos.
Just yep.
They would talk about the music videos or something, right?
I just love that too, by the way. God,
they don't do that no more.
Yeah, I miss MTV.
Yeah.
God, man, you taking me back. But yeah, that's where it started from. So he knew what type of target audience you were going to attract.
Right.
When he went to Fox, it's a different network, very kind of parental guidance. And I don't think do they still do the parental guidance on TV shows on the network?
I think so.
Okay.
They should. But
they should. But things have changed now.
Yeah.
So back then you couldn't do those type of things. Like Family Guy would not be able to do the stuff they did back in 96.
Right.
So I think with that tone, it's just the times, just different times that we live in now.
That is true.
You see the Simpsons have definitely dialed down a lot of this stuff now.
Yeah, and I mean honestly they should stop, but they're not, the Simpsons
will stop. Simpsons should have been stopped a long time ago.
Yeah.
They've been going on since I was a little kid, since I was a baby.
Yeah, I think what Simpsons and Futurama are like one of the longest running Futurama. Like,
Futurama's back on?
Futurama's back on, sir.
The channel
Hulu
network.
Hulu picked it up. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they came back with another season. But they do that like every couple of years. Like they end and then they come back for another couple.
Have
of
you watched
seasons.
any episodes of it?
I haven't seen any of the new stuff. No.
Huh.
I remember for a time like all their new seasons were just like the movies. So like they would have the TV movie come out and that's the new Futurama for the year. It's like, oh, we did Bender's Big Score or whatever.
God damn, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like 6 months ago or something, I think.
I kept hearing about it. I didn't know it was coming back out.
Yeah, Hulu has it.
But yeah, well, I'm glad you went down memory lane with Family Guy though.
Yeah,
with King of the Hill.
Yeah,
I'm glad you went down.
It's fun. It's cool. It's like I don't know. It's also just like a bunch of '90s jokes and just all the inside jokes with Dale and John Redcorn and.
I always thought that was so weird. It was like Dale did not know that John Redcorn had a whole child that looked nothing like him.
Well, there was a whole Reddit post explaining that like it's because like Dale is so involved in the conspiracy stuff that he doesn't see like the truth literally right in front of him,
which is usually how people are.
Yeah, so like that's the whole joke behind that character is like he's so conspiracy, but like he can't see the real conspiracy.
I think one of my favorite episodes, and I can't tell you every episode verbatim, but the one when the raccoon was in the store.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Oh man, maybe it was funny. Have. Yeah. When you do this, we're gonna have a laugh about that one.
And because it also kind of doubles as like a background show for us. Okay. So like we're watching it, but also we might not be watching it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But certainly,
that's why I am with Bob's Burgers a lot.
Right? Because you know, you just have your shows where you put on, and you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you just have it on in the background. I think I do that for Bob's Burgers when I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I like to put stuff on when I can't sleep, on the TV or listen to music.
Yeah.
And King of the Hill will probably one of those things now that I start doing.
Yeah.
Since we're going down back a little rabbit hole, real quick, I do on occasion watch MTV old stuff because it's on YouTube, so you can watch all the old stuff. They have all the
old stuff. That's cool.
You can go back and watch some of the old stuff. I'm like, man, I miss this. I miss this so much. Like if I could ever have a slice of pie where I can just carve my own lane and do that again, man, I would. I would love to go back to talk about music and movies and stuff all at once.
And that's an idea for a streaming service to pick up is like just music videos.
Yeah.
Like just stream music videos.
Well, you would
like have a place for them. I mean, I guess that's YouTube because like, I know like a lot of music videos come out on YouTube and stuff.
Pretty much.
I don't know. Imagine MTV, but a streaming service.
A new version of MTV.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
I mean, I believe one day it's gonna happen.
There used to be another music station called Fuse TV.
I remember Fuse. Yep.
And they were basically they were new MTV, right? Because like MTV became what it is, where it's like all reality shows and stuff. And then Fuse TV came out and like, oh, this is great because they literally had shows dedicated to bands and their music videos. That's how I discovered a lot of my music. It's like I would just watch these like blocks of music videos.
The thing about Fuse, it wasn't on every channel though.
It wasn't on every channel. I think it was like satellite mainly.
Only
TV.
Satellite mainly.
And then they went the way of MTV.
Yep.
They stopped doing music videos and started doing reality shows. And it's literally almost the same evolution.
Everyone wants to do reality shows now.
Yeah. Well, because it's easy.
It's easy to do. It's easy and cheap.
Yeah.
That's what Warner Brothers does now.
Yeah. You don't really hire actors, or you hire actors, but they're like very beginning, bottom of the barrel actors, right? Like they're just trying to get jobs. And so that's what you do. You hire these like eager people.
Like the Housewives shows and stuff.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. But man, you put me in a depressing mood now.
Well, that's great because we're going to talk about Batman.
God damn.
I don't know how much you followed it, but there's been some rumors and rumblings of the Batman Part 2, I guess like castings or characters.
Yeah, I heard about some of it.
So, what do you know?
I mean, I heard that Hush is supposed to be the main villain, and it's supposed to also be accompanied by two other villains with, what's his name, a pig?
They were looking at Professor Pig.
And Scarecrow.
And the Scarecrow, possibly.
Maybe Clayface, but I'm just like, I don't know about that one.
Clayface is really, I would love to see a live action Clayface.
Not in this universe.
He doesn't fit.
He doesn't fit. I don't want to see a Clayface where he's just wearing a mask and he's just got a knife in his hand.
Throws clay at people.
Because, well, you know, that's another version of Clayface from the origins. You know, so I don't want to see that version of Clayface. If that's the version we're getting now, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, well, because we've had this conversation before where this Batman universe that they've set up, they can't do the fantastical villains.
You can't.
You know? You can't do... I mean, I think at one time it's Todd Phillips, right? Or no, Todd Phillips is the Joker. Who does the Batman?
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. There was a time where Matt Reeves was talking about doing Mr. Freeze next.
Yeah.
Like, I think even like just before this Batman came out, or the last Batman came out, he was like, I'm looking at Mr. Freeze next. And Mr. Freeze, very fantastical villain. If anything, he's on the edge of you could possibly do him in that universe, but you got to do him a certain way.
Yeah, and see, if you got to break him down to like, if you have to break down a villain so much, then it's probably that you can't use it.
Right.
Possibly just don't use the character at all.
And also, like, you're going to diminish Frieza's overall story.
And
right?
see, I would rather use him for James Gunn's universe.
Yeah. And then you can still tell the story the same way. But yeah, because they were talking about Mr. Frieza first, but now we're hearing Hush. Hush makes sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense.
Hush fits in that world. Mr. Pig or Professor Pig
works in that world. Scarecrow works in that world.
I think Scarecrow is also kind of one of those
fantastical.
Yeah, because he kind of almost is, right? And also, I feel like his plot would be too close to Riddler's plot, almost. Except instead of flooding Gotham, he would, poison Gotham or whatever.
But see, I think it could work because the gas that he uses to scare people can be something like, maybe like crack cocaine, how it hallucinates your mind, stuff like that. So that's how I think they can use Scarecrow, like kind of like what Christopher Nolan did with Scarecrow.
I see.
So I kind of like that little twist of him. I wish we would have saw a lot more of him in Christopher Nolan's universe, but we didn't.
Well, his cameos were nice in the
they
sequels.
They were. But I heard about Robin.
Yeah, so I heard there was a rumor about Robin, but then there was another rumor that Robin was going to be a villain of some sort.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah. Well, it died quickly because James Gunn quickly came out and was like, that's not happening.
He debunked a lot of this.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. So good for him for staying on top of these rumors and stuff.
He's on Threads now, right?
Is he on Threads?
Yeah, he's not on Twitter.
Oh, really? He's off completely?
He's off completely. He went to Threads.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Just a little sidebar.
Yeah.
But Robin is also a very odd choice.
I feel like introducing Robin so soon into this Batman's world is an odd choice.
It's an odd choice for the simple fact that to introduce him, he would be a kid.
Yeah.
But
also, they're doing Batman Brave and the Bold already on the flip side, right? In the new DCU.
But that's Damian.
That's starting. Oh, they're doing Damian?
Yeah, that's Damian Wayne. Though.
Oh, okay. That's
But this
cool.
one, you'll be getting Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
But I don't think that Dick Grayson fits in this universe.
Well, no. And again, you're still doing the Batman Robin thing.
Exactly.
Even if it's not the same Robin, you're still doing Batman and Robin in a whole different movie.
You are, but I'm okay with the different Robins because at least you're getting one side of the story. Because for one, we haven't seen Robin since 1995. Let's get that out.
Live action, no.
Live action. We have not seen a live action Robin, and then he was aged up for one.
Kind of not true because the Titan show does Robin.
Well, I mean movie wise.
Yeah.
Movie wise, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen a good depiction of Robin since 1995. And 1995 version with Chris O'Donnell, even that wasn't the best version of him because he was
this grown man being adopted by Bruce Wayne.
Exactly. So I don't know how much you really like that Robin, but with this Robin, you would have to make him at least 8 to 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't know how comfortable that would look in this version of Batman without making it look silly.
Right.
The James Gunn universe, it fits.
Yeah, James Gunn, it would fit. And also we still have the aftermath of the Riddler to deal with.
Exactly.
So I think it's just like finding a villain who would be a good setup in that aftermath, right? Because whatever villain comes along would surely come along almost because of what happened in the first movie. I would assume.
I would assume so. I would assume that also.
To do Hush, I mean, Hush has a lot of backstory with Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne's parents, yeah.
Yeah, and Bruce Wayne's parents. And did they show Tommy Elliott in Batman?
I think they did.
Like in a flashback?
Somewhat they did. But I think when he was in that room and he saw that, his mother was in Arkham and it showed some of his family. From what I read, it was in the background picture that Thomas Elliott could have been in there.
Okay.
So I don't know how much they could use that. Look, let's just assume that they do Hush. There are only going to be 2 villains that he can use. It's going to be Joker and it's going to be Two-Face. Yeah, and that's it.
Two-Face would be a good one.
And Penguin,
and you still have Penguin, but you're doing a whole show for him.
Doing a whole show for him.
So I don't know if you would really bring him back as a villain.
You can't use Poison Ivy.
Too fantastical.
Can't use Mad Hatter. You could.
I'd say you could probably use Mad Hatter in some degree.
Yeah, maybe Mad Hatter.
Yeah. Mad Hatter, or the ventriloquist. He would actually be kind of cool to see.
After seeing him in Gotham, I'm just like, yeah.
Well, Gotham did him real bad, but
yeah, they did him real dirty.
Yeah.
It's just that's the whole thing when you do these movies and you make them so grounded.
Yeah.
There's only so many things you can do with it. Yeah.
Because as grounded as Batman villains can be, they're still very wacky.
They are.
And out there.
It's kind of like Spider-Man. His universe also has wacky
Yeah.
villains: Green Goblin, Rhino,
Yeah.
Vulture, Doctor Octopus.
Yeah, you can't do the Batman version of the Spider-Man.
You just can't.
You know, you can't do a gritty, like you would do a Spider-Man Nowhere where it's already designed to be gritty.
Yeah, and I think this is the kind of the problem that you run into when you make so many Batman films.
Yeah.
With so many Batman.
Well, because you don't want to rehash your villains, right?
Exactly.
Like we've seen Scarecrow. We've seen Joker several times.
Several times.
We've seen Catwoman 2 or 3 times by now. We've seen a couple iterations of Penguin.
Yeah.
You know, the Riddler was even a rehashed villain, right? Because we had Jim
Batman,
Carrey.
Yeah, Batman Forever.
Very cartoonic Riddler, but still Riddler nonetheless. And so it's like you're just dwindled down to like, who can I choose and what can I go with?
Yeah, and I think that's the sad part about it. And look, I love the Batman. I don't know how you felt about the Batman. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great movie. It's just the fact that I knew the Riddler kind of diminishes, I guess, like the grandiose,
the audience
the
knew,
detectiveness of it, right?
Yeah, because the audience already knew it was Riddler.
Right, because you know it's Riddler the whole time, and like you're watching Batman figure that out, and Batman's kind of sloppy because he's new.
He's new,
but you know it's the Riddler, so it's not really a big surprise. The bigger surprise, spoilers, alert, is when Riddler kind of wins.
Yeah, he really did, which I like.
I like that. I like that a lot. Where it's like, oh yeah, I stopped the Riddler. Not really.
No, not really.
He blew up the water wall.
Man, so you gonna make me want to watch Batman all over again.
I know. I haven't seen it since we saw it in the theater.
It's on
such
Netflix.
A long movie though.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Such a long movie.
It is. It really is. But it's such a masterpiece in my opinion. And I really hate that it's not gonna be in James Gunn's universe.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna get another Batman again. We're gonna do all this over again.
Yeah.
So once again, it's just you're making another Batman film. So it's just kind of like I'm interested in seeing the Batman film, but it's just like, man, I have to go through this whole cycle of this all over again. Exactly. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah. Are we gonna get the backstory again? Are we gonna do this or do Batman Beyond?
That's what I always wanted.
I want to see Batman Beyond. I think I've said this to you before. I think if DC really wanted to like get butts in the seats, Batman Beyond, Static Shock.
Well, allegedly that's what they were trying to do with the Michael Keaton stuff and the Batgirl and all that. It was supposed to be like
it was going to be like a somewhat setup to
a Batman Beyond type film. But I don't think Warner Brothers really knew how to really get to that point.
Yeah,
they knew how they wanted to do it, but I don't know how the two lines never connected.
No,
so yeah, I don't know how true these rumors are about the Batman. Hopefully, I don't know.
I don't think a lot of them have a lot of truth to it
because the script still hasn't finished yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the script is not finished yet. So the script is not going to get done until spring of 2024.
Dang.
So it's supposed to film longer. Yeah, it's supposed to film in the back half of 2024 from now. So we'll see how it goes, man.
Let's keep it real. You know the deal. Kick your feet up. Relax a little. You've been working hard, paid up all your bills. Now you know what time it is. Netflix and chill.
I'm still watching The Bear. I'm still trying to finish The Bear. But Future and I, over the Christmas like New Year's holidays and stuff, we started watching the live action adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho. Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard of it. It's an anime show, isn't it?
It's anime.
Oh, that's why.
It's anime, way back in the day. I mean, probably around the same time that like Dragon Ball Z was in the Majin Buu saga.
Okay.
That's how old it is, right? And
like 90s?
Yeah, like 90s, early 2000s. Okay. And Yu Yu Hakusho holds a special place in my heart because I would come home after middle school and watch it. And every day, like, so they had an arc. I'm not explaining this well. Yu Yu Hakusho is an anime about a boy who he gets run over by a truck saving another little boy. Damn. Right? He's like the badass kid in school. He's always skipping class. He's always doing bad things or whatever. And people are like, oh, that Yusuke Urameshi is nothing. Right?
You make this sound so joyous. It should be so sad. His
mom's an alcoholic. His dad's not around.
Great show.
Yeah, great show. Anyway, so so he's walking home from skipping school one day, and this kid's like playing soccer or whatever in the middle of the street. Truck comes barreling down the road. Yusuke, our main character, pushes the kid out the way, gets hit by the truck, dies.
Sidebar: Why is the kid just He doesn't pay attention out there?
You know what? Anime dads are not around a lot, James.
God, man. I see that.
They're just, anime dads are not existent enough to teach their kids not to play
So
in the middle of the road.
So the other poor young man had to die because his kid and his father won't pay attention.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, so he dies, he goes to the spirit world, and then he gets met by basically a Grim Reaper, right? But she's like this cute, like blue-haired chick, because anime. She explains to him, she's like, oh, we didn't think you were going to die. Like, we hadn't planned for your death because we didn't see you being selfless enough to push this little kid out the way. So your death was entirely unplanned. This is entirely an accident, right? And so their solution is like, okay, well, we're going to make you a spirit detective. So you're going to go and fight demons because like demons are constantly trying to get into the human world because back in the day they used to be connected. Now they're not.
Kind of like Max Payne a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And so before he comes back to life, he's got to convince like all his friends and family that he's still alive, right? So because first of all, the authorities want to burn his body or bury it or whatever, and so he's got to do that. But eventually, he comes back alive. He becomes a spirit detective, and him and his high school rival become besties. And then he meets up with a couple other demons who they're bad, but they're not that bad, and they kind of become this group. Anyway, it's great. It's a great story. When I was a kid, I would come home and I would watch the show, and I would watch the show during a specific part.
This was on cable?
This was on cable. This was Toonami.
Oh,
like
Toonami.
Cartoon
Okay.
Network Toonami.
Okay, yeah.
Back when Toonami was like in the middle of the day after school.
Okay.
Before it was on Adult Swim. Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
'Cause I used to watch Toonami all the time. I never watched this.
Oh yeah, no, this was like the afternoon edition because like they had Toonami on Saturdays, which was like the main Toonami.
Yep.
But then
Saturday
during the day, they actually had like an afternoon version of it.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so this would run, and the parts that I would see are the episodes where they're in this dark tournament. In the dark tournament, the whole point was the demon world made an agreement with like, I guess the human world, and like, hey, we're going to have this tournament, and whoever wins gets control of the demon world. And so it was like this epic tournament, like Yusuke's fighting all these people. They're all fighting all these people. And anyway, it's a great show. That's how I fell in love with the show. Enjoy the show. I read the mangas like growing up. My best friend Joel, it's one of his favorite shows. He had the mangas. He would let me borrow it in high school, and I read it. But anyway, so they made a live action adaptation of it.
Ooh.
And historically, live action adaptations of animes
have been awful.
Not so well.
Except for One Piece.
One Piece came out very well because the creator and the writer behind One Piece was on set every day and very heavily involved in the casting process and the writing process.
Which is what you need.
He wouldn't leave set sometimes. Or he would tell them, like, you have to redo this scene because you didn't get the emotion right. Or, like, you didn't do the scene as I depicted it. Like, it needs to be redone. Because One Piece, I mean, that thing's still going on. It's like a 25-year-old anime. I think this year is its 25th year anniversary. And so he's like, this thing's been going on long enough. Like, you can't diminish my story.
I agree.
That's definitely a special case. But, unfortunately, the Netflix adaptation of You You Hakusho kind of did what Cowboy Bebop did. And have you seen the Cowboy Bebop adaptation?
I've almost seen clips of it. It did not interest me at all.
So what they did with Cowboy Bebop is a short anime.
Yeah.
About 26 episodes long. You can knock it out in an afternoon. What they did with the Netflix show is they basically took the spark notes of the main plot points from Cowboy Bebop. And they made that into like an 8-episode season. And then they set it up for a second season. So they did the main story, right? The actual main story of Cowboy Bebop inside of 8 episodes, but they set it up for a second season because there's like a whole bunch of material they cut out in between, right? They introduced like 2 characters at the very end of the first season that should have been on the adventure with them the whole time. And Yu Yu Hakusho kind of does that same thing. They had a solid first episode. Like, first episode was so solid. Like, they did the whole, he gets run over by a truck. Really gruesome, too. Like, when he got hit, like, you saw the body roll.
Oh, nice.
Blood pouring out the face. It was gruesome.
Man, maybe I might pay attention just to see that part.
Right. And it started out great because you had that, and then you had him, trying to get back alive, and it showed his, like, resurrection. And the way they did it in the show, actually, I think they handled it really well because in the books and the anime, it's like 2 or 3 episodes in the anime, and I think the books is like the first 20 chapters of just him trying to come back to life. To condense it down to like an hour, I think that worked. Second episode was still promising because okay, cool, we're going on to the next thing. Everything seems so accurate now. The third episode is when they start skipping stuff.
So basically, for this show and the whole thing in a nutshell, they're speeding up stuff. They're skipping plot points.
Thank you. Yes,
and that's what they're doing. They're skipping plot points, and that's why this show has is issues. Which they do that with a lot of shows.
they do.
Which is why I don't like some of these cases when you adapt shows or cartoon or animes into live action, because you always end up skipping plot points.
Right.
Always.
And I mean, One Piece has proven you don't have to do that.
You don't.
Right? So we already have pretty much almost the golden child of anime live action and adaptations. And then right after that, you're going to do this.
Yeah, it's like watching Star Wars, and they put together those fan films on YouTube.
Right.
Which are good.
Right.
I would rather watch them over the movies.
Right.
But they're also sometimes like, you can kind of skip plot points.
Right.
In certain situations.
Right. And, I feel like I should be more angry about it, but I'm past the point where I get upset over these adaptations. I'm just trying to enjoy something. And so, like, we watched it. Khadija enjoyed it. And from the perspective of someone who didn't watch the anime and, like, this is how I got her into it, I think it worked out pretty well because she still got the gist of the story. And she was like, oh, I actually enjoyed it. So
well, that's because she doesn't have the same history.
She doesn't have the history.
Like you do.
Right. But
for a casual, they love it.
Yeah. But I'm trying to be so the optimistic me in this is like, okay, cool. They didn't adapt it 100%, but they adapted it enough to get somebody who's never seen it or read it interested in it to where they might actually pick up the books and watch the anime with me now.
Which I think that's what they're going for. They're going for that type of audience.
And while they skipped through a bunch of the like main plot points, the action was solid. And the final episode of the show was very good. Almost straight up like a live action anime. Like you got the villain evil monologuing the whole time. You've got him just throwing everybody else around because he's so strong. Like you got the tension. You got all the
they got everything else
potatoes,
right. Yeah, they got the meat potatoes of everything else right.
Yeah. And so the final episode was just like phenomenal to me because I'm like, wow, you really hit the mark with this episode. Because I mean, you hit all the things that make it good. It's just I can tell they were doing this to set up where it's like, okay, if we get a second season, like Cowboy Bebop, if we get a second season, we'll do the other bits of the story that we skipped over.
Which I'm pretty sure they probably won't get no second season.
They probably won't. And I mean, Cowboy Bebop's not getting one.
No, that's
right?
it.
And so that's kind of the upsetting part where it's like I get where you guys are going for. But maybe if you just would have stayed accurate, you could have been able to tell. Also, Yu Yu Hakusho is not a long story. It's not a 25-year-old tale that's still going. It's not like a Dragon Ball Z where they're still doing iterations of it. Like Yu Yu Hakusho it's done.
Which I've been stopped watching Dragon Ball Z years ago.
Right. It's done. It's finished. The story's been told, and it's never been touched again. There hasn't been Yu Yu Hakusho Part 2 where the kids or something are doing stuff now. It's literally you watch the series or you read the 20 books and that's it. So it's like you guys could have really taken your time to make a better show, but you did this. And again, the show's not bad. It's not terrible, but it's just
they skip certain points, key points in the show.
It suffers the live action adaptation curse that's been going on.
It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix production.
Heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
Heard nothing about it.
I've seen articles about it, which have actually been saying nice things about it. Yeah. So that's surprising.
I definitely feel your passion about the show.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about a lot of shows that adapt movies and stuff like that. I think Scott Pilgrim did a TV show for it on Netflix. It actually turned out pretty good. So in some cases you can get it right, in some cases you can.
Right. And I mean, well, my opinion on the Scott Pilgrim cartoon, and I haven't seen it, but it's like they just redid the movie, or they redid the story.
Sort of, kind of.
They redid the story, right? They got all the voice actors and stuff back to do the story all over again.
They did, but they also explained a lot more.
Did they?
Yeah. They made sure the show the boyfriends, all the ex-boyfriends, show them the other side of the story.
Okay.
They, in so many cases, in Scott Pilgrim, you had the ex-boyfriends that just, they're all out villains.
Oh, they just show up and get their butt kicked
and
by
that's
Scott
it.
Pilgrim.
But in the show, it shows you each ex-boyfriend and what they went through with that certain person and why they turned into this evil person.
Okay.
Which that's why I like.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I like from the outside looking in, It just kind of seemed like, okay, you're doing a more accurate version of the movie based on the book, so you're doing the same art style. And I get where they were going for, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch the same story again.
No, it's not. It's not the same story. It definitely shows a lot more breadth of characters, which is what you're supposed to do when you do these live action adaptations or whatever cartoons.
Yeah.
Whenever you do this stuff, give something different to the light. It's the same thing we've been talking about with Disney all the time.
Yeah.
With these live action reboots.
Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, I definitely feel you're passionate about the show. Hopefully people still watch it regardless of what, you know.
I think they should.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's a bad show. I think outside of like having knowledge about like how the story is, I still think it's a decent show. It was still entertaining. It was still, it still had action. It had the spirit, no pun intended, but it didn't quite keep that same story.
So what would you give the rating for this show? The whole show. What rating system are we getting?
I'd give it a 6 out of 10 spirit guns.
6 out of 10 spirit guns, huh?
Yeah, I'd say 6 out of 10.
All right.
Because, I mean, while they rushed the story, they still tried to like do the characters accurately to how they are, almost to a fault. Because I don't know, some of the face acting wasn't good.
Yeah.
Or even some of the costume design for like some of the characters, like other forms and stuff, were like, okay, that's kind of cheesy. But the action was good, and I think, like I said, the last episode and the first episode, I think, were the most solid episodes there were.
Nice.
So, I don't know. I had a good time with it. Also, like, I'm just in this phase where I'm trying not to
overreact to everything.
Overreact, just be upset about things that don't really matter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course. I mean,
it's a show and entertain me.
But it's also good to have an opinion.
Yeah.
If you're critical of a show, how could you ever expect things to get better?
You're all right. And I do wish they did it better, but I'm not going to sit here and rage about it. You know what I mean?
Because on another episode, not this one, but we can talk about the fact that, because I really don't watch anime. I never have, I never will. But at the same time, I have been seeing stories about anime video games and anime communities like, you guys deserve better.
Yeah.
And it's time. It's kind of like Star Wars universe and fan base. You deserve better.
Yeah.
And it's time to stop just accepting crap.
Yeah.
So no, I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Well, it's what the superhero fan base went through in the early 2000s.
Early
right?
2000s, yeah.
we just had a point where it's like this is our adaptations, and then the first Iron Man came out, and the first Thor came out, and the first Captain America came out.
Get better.
And all of a sudden, it was like,
yeah.
Oh wow, we're here. We're faithful adaptations.
If you keep accepting trash,
yeah,
you won't get good stuff.
Yeah, and now we're on a decline because it got so good, but then the studios got lazy.
Yep.
So now we're on the decline of like, well, now the latest Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now just see how it is. The anime, anime community is very big and large.
Yeah.
If you keep accepting stuff in the video games, the video game world, they've done horribly in.
Video game anime adaptations they're
terrible.
Not great. Yeah.
They're terrible. So yeah, we can get into another episode, but I like your review for the show.
Thank you.
I hope that people still watch it.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. You gave it 6 out of 10 spirit guns.
I give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah.
6 out of 10. So. You ready for a review?
Give it to me.
I saw Iron Claw.
All right.
Very emotional, very tragic story. Wrestling dynasty out of Texas.
Right.
Oh, man. When I tell you, I was so enthralled with this movie.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. From the cinematography, the actors, the actresses.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good, man. You had Zac Efron, which turns in probably one of his best roles ever.
Does he live up to the hype?
Oh, he lives up to the hype.
About that.
Yeah, he lives up to the hype. 100%. This is the break we've been waiting for Zac Efron.
All right, good.
He plays the one that's still living.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's still living.
I was curious about that. I was looking at an article earlier today. They interviewed, I think the one who's still living. Is it Eric?
I think is Kerry, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Well, he was on Chris Jericho's podcast.
Yeah.
He was talking about the thing, but we can get into that a little bit later. I was just curious at which one played him.
Yeah. So he plays the one that's still living.
Okay.
Tragic stories. I don't want to give away how they passed away. but it is trying to break a family curse. It's a curse that's been going around for years.
Right.
That something always bad always happens. They lost their other brother because they're supposed to be 5.
Oh wow.
And they lost one brother when he was a baby.
Oh wow.
So it's just, well, not a baby, but I want to say like a toddler almost.
Yeah.
And man, you got the father who's trying to live his life through his son's, through his son's eyes and stuff like that. He's pushing him every day.
Yeah.
All these guys are jacked. There's only one brother that's not jacked. But Zac Efron looks like He-Man.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, Zac Efron, if they were doing a He-Man movie, listen to this podcast.
Now was the time to
this
cast
is
them.
the guy.
Yeah.
He looks like He-Man.
That's crazy.
His body transformation was amazing in this film.
I mean, I know that was a big deal like a few months ago when he first revealed what he looked like for the movie, right? They were like, "Oh, that's Zac Efron. He really buffed up."
He was buffed up to hell.
Yeah.
And your boy from The Bear, Jeremy Allen, buffed up to hell, man.
Yeah. See, I want to see them two act together.
Oh, they were good.
I want to see how their acting is together because
on screen, magic.
Now, is this Jeremy Allen's like first like movie? Because I've only seen him in television shows. Do we?
It might have been.
Let me look
it might have been. Also, look up and make sure that's. I don't want to. I want to make sure we get the right person.
Yes.
I don't want to announce the wrong name. Cause I know Zac Efron. Like I say, man, Zac Efron. I'm so proud of him. A couple of years we've been waiting for Zac Efron to turn in one of those performers.
Right.
Because he did. He. I think you said last week that he's very multifaceted. He could do comedy. He could do drama. He came from Disney.
Yeah, he's kind of been
because he's a
little
Disney.
bit of everything.
He's a Disney kid.
He's a Disney kid.
High School Musical.
Yeah. So it looks like Jeremy Allen White's been in a couple of movies, but nothing like big.
And which one was Zac Efron again? I want to make sure I get that right.
Yeah, let me look that up.
Yeah, because I don't want to mislead the people. Because I really want people to see this movie, man. This movie was amazing. Bring a Kleenex box. Definitely bring a Kleenex box. Because that's how it gets you in the fields.
Kevin. Plays Kevin Von Erich.
Yeah, Kevin Von Erich.
Jeremy Allen was Carrie.
Yep, Carrie.
Yeah.
All of them, man. It's just so tragic how they all passed away. And the father, who was played by...
What's the father's name? Like his actual name?
I don't know his actual name. You just look up the...
Is he Fritz Von Erich? Holt McClone?
Yeah.
McColney?
Because you just look up... I got you. Holt McConney.
Okay.
This guy always plays somebody bad.
Does he?
Every single movie. This movie here, he's not really a bad guy.
Right.
He's just a father he wants to live his life through his sons.
Now that you say that, the article I was telling you about where they were interviewing Kevin on Jericho's show, he was kind of talking about his father's portrayal in this movie. He made the comment that he's like, look, this is a movie. It's made for a dramatization. Obviously, they're going to make things a little bit more...
Yeah, lift it up a little
dramatic,
bit. Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
For entertainment value, he's like, look, my father wasn't a bad person. He was well respected man. Like he was kind of defending his dad because I guess the movie portrays him as not a great person.
From what I saw and from what I heard, look, when you do these biopic movies, it's never going to be 100% to the
right.
T.
And you have to know that before going. This isn't History Channel.
Yeah, it's not History Channel.
On this show, it's like when the Queen movie came out, and people were like, "Oh, well, they never broke up before the Live Aid performance, and they never did this." Like, yeah, but you gotta follow the beats of a biopic. Yeah,
Exactly. They got documentaries about the Von Erichs as well.
Yeah.
So you can go to that. You can look it up. And so this movie is like 85% true.
Yeah,
85, which is pretty damn accurate.
Yeah,
if you stop and think about it.
Yeah.
But man, when I tell you this movie hits you in the feels, man, it gets you. I can't tell you how many times that I almost teared up, on the verge of tearing up. It's so tragic how these one by one, each of these brothers had died. And it's like, man, this is just terrible. And one thing I do wish that it could have been a TV show. Because I feel like a TV show could have gave you each brother, each details of in-depth and how they all passed away. And man, and the mother, she was great as well. Can you imagine going to a funeral for each son?
That's crazy.
And she had that one scene where she was like, I can't put this dress on because they see me in this dress already.
Yeah.
I was like, God, man, it just really, really hits you in the feels. Zac Efron's definitely gonna get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
I do believe so. This is his time. He's gonna be on that short list with Cillian Murphy. Who else? Ryan Gosling might have an outside chance too as well. Maybe outside. But he's definitely gonna be on that short list with them. And oh man, so you definitely check it out.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna take some time and go see it.
It's kind of rushed. Like I said, it's kind of rushed because the first half of it shows you the wrestling family, the in ring, setting up the ring, and very good with the wrestling. Might I add too, by the way, the cinematography for the movie is off the chain.
Yeah.
And now,
what's the runtime for it? What are we looking at? 2.5 hour and a half?
I think it's about 2.5. It's about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually what you get for these Oscar bait movies.
That's true.
Yeah, right about this time you get those type of movies.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth the time. Once you're invested, you're fully invested.
Okay.
You're not watching this movie and you're checking out.
Yeah.
Like some movies you watch, you like, okay, I'm check back in, check back. No, you're invested throughout the entire film.
You know what's funny is I don't think I've seen one trailer for this movie.
Oh.
I've only heard about it. I've seen posts or articles about it.
Well, you don't watch network
You and I
television.
have talked about it.
Yeah.
And we don't. I don't watch normal television. And that's something that streaming services need to pick up is like the ones that have ads.
Netflix.
They need to pick up movie trailers.
Well, they are. I think they are
I'm telling
slowly.
you, we watch Peacock all the time, and there ain't no ad on Peacock besides freaking Allstate
And State Farm.
and State Farm and some other like crap.
Yeah.
It's like if you actually had movie trailers, actually they were pushing Wish.
Yeah.
I think they were pushing Wish through not even a Wish ad. I think it was like a State Farm ad or something. Or no, it was a Haunted Mansion. They were pushing Haunted Mansion through a State Farm ad.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
that's something streaming services need to pick up more is like more trailers in their advertising when they have ads.
The movie didn't do good in the box office. I mean, it did decent.
Yeah.
But look what you're going up against. You got all these big, you got Color Purple
remake.
Aquaman. What's the Wonka?
Yeah.
It was a holiday season.
Yeah.
And it's not a very holiday movie.
No.
This is not a holiday movie.
It's definitely not take your family to go.
Yeah, it's not take your family type movie. But the only gripe I have is kind of the second half of it's kind of rushed.
I see.
The depths are kind of rushed. That's why I said the show it would have benefited more from an actual TV show than a movie. The other guy that played Ric Flair, because the guy that played Ric Flair in there,
right,
I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all. But that's just a minor detail.
Was he the only wrestler cameo, I guess, in the movie? Were there other wrestlers portrayed?
It was one other wrestler too from AEW, MJF. I saw him. He didn't say anything, but I saw him. I was like, oh, that's him in the wig.
Okay.
But the guy that played Ric Flair, I was just like, yeah, that ain't feeling this one. they ain't doing it for me.
I know there was like some real life wrestler who made the comment that he wasn't going to go see the movie because he was friends with all of them. And so it still hurts. Like all the feelings and all that stuff that's still there. He's like, not to say, he's like, I'm not saying the movie's bad. He's like, I can't watch it emotionally.
Once you see how these guys passed away, he's like, yeah, I can't really stomach to watch it.
Yeah.
I can totally understand that. But if I had to give this movie a rating, I would give it 9 out of 10 wrestling boots.
Okay.
9 out of 10 wrestling boots.
It's not a bad rating.
Yeah, man. Check it out in theaters. In theaters now.
Before we get out of here, James, we must remind our audience. There's a show coming up in January.
Ooh, I love shows. What you got?
January 11th, we got our first interviewee, King David, performing at the Scout Bar.
Oh, baby.
His third live performance. I was talking to him the other day. I think he said he goes on at 10 p.m., which I'm going to have to take the day off for the next day.
Yeah, because there's no way in hell you're getting up.
It's way past my bedtime at that point.
You're old. We were both old men.
Yeah. He's performing at Scout Bar January 11th. Doors open at 8. I think the show starts at 9, according to the poster. So if anybody is interested and they want their tickets, you can go to scoutbar.com online and you can purchase the tickets through them. I think there should be like an Eventbrite link on the website. So hey, if you listen to that episode and if you're a follower of us and you're a follower of King David, go buy tickets, go check out the show. We'll be there.
It's still up. It's still up on our iHeart and Spotify. So check out that interview.
Yeah, that too. Check out our interview. Shameless plug for ourselves. But hey, that's all we got today. So if you wanna contact us personally, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. If you want to check out our Instagram, we got an Instagram at onthego with Jacob and James, all one word. You can also find James on Instagram,
James794,
and you can find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio. If you're listening to us on Spotify, we have a Q&A section. Take a look, answer a question. There might be a poll, answer the poll, and then we'll collect them and read them on air one day. So, but hey, that's all we got. I'm on the go. James is on the go.
We're all on the go.
Talk to you later.
Peace.